So let's get into this video, shall we? I'm sorry, there's just no fun in this kind of news, but this is something I'm not a huge fan of. Bandai is showing time and time again that they're willing to correct some issues, but then slip in every other one. So, first off, instead of hearing from the horse's mouth, we have to hear from Eggman. Don't get me wrong, it's fine that other content creators are gonna... He's being the middleman of this, I guess. But I'd rather have had Bandai announce it out of respect to the community instead of having Eggman do it. Or instead, if Bandai was going to do it, Eggman didn't just blurt it out already. You know, that's kind of huge, but this is one thing. We've been receiving many applicants to attend this event. Thank you very much for support. This event will be held offline at the LA Convention Center. There will be no live streams on the day of the event. So this might have been Bandai itself, but this is probably not them. This is probably another thing. This sucks. Confirms that Battle Hour and other Card Fest events won't be streamed due to cost. Venue internet is out of control price, and it was recorded but not live. So looks like none of the Card Fests are going to be live streamed this year. This is an incredible loss for all Bandai card game communities. I understand limitation and constraints, but as someone who's done a lot of in-person coverage personally, it's blogging. See, the problem comes down to is that we are now taking away the live stream, which a lot of players around the world watch. They are very excited to watch these events. Now, yes, there's probably not a lot of money in the live stream. Usually there's never is. You know, you don't make money on the live stream. You make money on the replay. You know, that is kind of the thing with corporations. There's no money in it to live stream it. Like live streaming content, unless they are getting, you know, tips and, you know, money dropped at them, there's no real function of live streaming. Live streaming as a content creator, you make no money off of. You make money off the ads and stuff like that. 4 different live streams isn't going to make you that much money to compensate for the LA convention's internet. They didn't even use LA's internet convention last year. What I'm hearing is that they used high-speed internet pucks from Core TCG to live stream there. You know, that's a huge thing that Core did to make it live streamable. That is not always able to be done when Core isn't really the full TO. The TO is Bandai itself. So this is one of those big problems that comes down to any convention anyway, is that depends on what budgetable things you can do and what you can't. So again, LA Convention is probably one of the more expensive convention centers that you can apply to. I mean, even taking the account of, like, I talked to major sellers and stuff like that. Like, one of the major ones is True Champ Gaming's, you know, Ari himself. He's done many conventions and stuff like that. A panel for a weekend at, let's say, you know, New York Comic Con or something like that, it's like $3,000 to do the live stream. So stuff like that from a business perspective, I get it. There's not always that money grab because doing a live stream isn't going to make you the money. You're going to make the money off of the replay because your channel will generate the views because millions of views will be watched on the replay. I get it. There's just... It's one of those tough decisions that, there's a lot of content creators going. I'm not going to be going, sadly, just not in the cards, especially when I'm trying to get to a condo or a house by 2025. It's just not in the cards. It's not practical. So stuff like that is very important to take into account, that we're just not making that money. So as even live streaming, that's why I don't really live stream as much, because I can be online for all eternity, but unless somebody is giving me money, I'm making pennies on the dollar. You know, it's not worth it. It doesn't make its money's back. There's no way of recouping the cost for a live stream at a convention for anything. So stuff like that is usually built into the cost, and they'll expect that. But as a company, there's no real reason to do the live stream. I get that concept. It sucks that we are not going to have that, and I get it. You know, like, I want to say, you know, this sucks like 10 billion fold. It does. But at the same time, I understand from a business perspective that it's just not cost effective to sit there and live stream unless you have revenue from people donating. And unless they magically make that 2,800K, that is going to be like, you know, that not 28K, $28,000 from everybody streaming and watching it. There's no money in it. So I get it. It's just really expensive. Maybe this might lead into them looking at other venues in the next couple of years. You know, I think a lot of it comes down to is that companies that host these events, that's why online, it's so cheap to do it, because you don't need anybody else's internet but the people that are commentating and streaming it. There are many things like that, very important to take into account. Another thing that I found out really annoyed me a little bit was that you could apply to being a commentator in the event. You had to reach out to the TO, but you had to know somebody kind of thing to know that that's what you had to do. There was no open application to commentate. That's a little more annoying to me, because why wasn't that thing even announced? And then, you know, they never even told who didn't get in and who got in for the commentating. So that's still annoying as can be, because you don't know who's going to commentate the events. So it's probably going to be Eggman, because he's just facto, but I think he wants to cover like One Piece more. He covers more One Piece a little bit more. It seems to be more his game than Digimon now. Don't get me wrong, he does well with Digimon, but I think he heads towards One Piece more as a favorite game. So stuff like that is kind of vitally important to take a look at. And I wish Bandai would stop making these screw-ups as a whole. I think slip up after slip up after slip up has been happening, and it's creating these fractures in players' faith and ability to believe in their stuff. And that's a big thing. You know, we had the restriction of a first secret, and we had the restriction of a first super rare, because they were just way too powerful of a card. And that's proving that that is a thing. So stuff like that means that the R&D department needs to step up their game. The fact that they hit was a great thing, you know, but we also are going to have people that are going to complain about, oh no, my format, Look, guys, as much as I would love to be able to play a deck at a full strength, I don't want to sit there through a toxic format more than I have to. I would not want to lose as many players as JP did, knowing that, you know, Apocalypse is sitting there and just going, oh yeah, you have this clock on you and you have X amount of turns. Either kill me in this X amount of turns or you lose by the following. Slam down 1, slam down 2, protected, overly protected. You know, the milk classification that it does is just way too fast, and most decks just can't keep up. And then you had, you know, from the extremes it comes down to, it's similar to when we had BT4, where it was either Lord Nightmon, Setcon, or Rookie Rush. Your deck either could not handle that triangle and you were pushed out. You know, it was the same thing here with Apocalypse, then followed by Anubis, and then followed by Wergrumon. You know, speed, an OTK deck, followed by a swarming wide deck, and then followed by basically a clock deck that you just can't interact with as much. You know, it feels like Apocalypse is Setcon, you know, Anubis is Rookie Rush, and then you had the Lord Nightmon well, Lord Mightmon and Anubis are kind of the same, I would say there. And then Rookie Rush is like Garurumon. So really realizing that the format was just becoming that triangle format again and being very toxic. Let's be honest, every time they've done a hit for us, like we lost out on these really powerful decks, it opened the meta up in an extreme way that it became very healthy. So stuff like that is very important to take a look at when you are doing content and stuff like this. But, you know, even coming down to just having the loop being hit right away is good too. And people were complaining, oh no, why lose out on that? Anubis should be hit right when Nationals hit it too. That's unfair. No, the loop is just that toxic. It wasn't discovered until recently, and it wasn't even discovered in JP. It was Taiwan that kind of discovered this, and then the deck started just dominating. It ended up in JP's national worlds kind of nationals kind of thing, like 2 to 3 listings, and the deck is just very toxic and it's unhealthy for a format. Because if you just tell me that my opponent just gets to play solitaire for the rest of the game, and then I basically can't do anything to that loop, there's a problem. You know, you can slow down other loops and interact with other loops, and it just, you're fine. You know, you can stop those kind of things very easily. But the fact that you can't stop this loop is really much a problem, and its only weakness was a security lock that you had an option removal in there that would deal with the wide board. You know, Crimson Blaze in there would deal with it, but anything else would not. So stuff like that is very important to take a look at, and especially, you know, like I said earlier with this venue situation, what I hope Bandai takes from this is that they move from LA. It's obviously they need to find a cheaper venue where they can budget in the live stream into the future, where, you know, there's other venues than putting yourself in the most expensive city to host anything. You know, telling me that, you know, if you pick New York or something like that, I'm just saying, New York, guys, you know, 3,000 for the week is cheaper than 28K, you know, that's a big difference. You know, pick a different venue. I think they just went with the easiest one because it was last year, but I think just splitting this up and being more in-person events, all this stuff will make the world go round. I think more in-person events is going to help out. I think being able to see the community grow and prosper that way is going to help out. I love that we have the online functionality, and it's, again, that's why they've done it, is because it's so cheaply cost effective to just do a webcam, because they have no capital here. There's no upfront cost here. They're only basically paying for shipping and for people to judge. And that's it. Commentators maybe get paid, but outside of that, what else are you doing? I mean, that's why we saw the online event says high. And that's because there's no upfront cost or capital heads. Bandai is a very stingy company, and they will make these bad calls because they are very stingy. They want their money, and that's all they care about. They do not fully care about the player base, in my opinion, but that's just me talking and rambling. So guys, what did you think of the video? What's your opinion on this kind of thing? Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!